So this is a quick video of how to smoke salmon. This is the salmon that Philip caught at the Samish River and out in the Sound also. I'll be showing you guys how to fillet the salmon, how to prep it, get all the ingredients ready. I'll include the recipe in the description of the brine that I use for my salmon. We're going to be doing a hot smoke in my smoker. We're going to be smoking it for about 2 hours, brining it about 12 hours. So it's a lengthy process, but makes some really good salmon here. So our first part here, we're going to be filleting our salmon, and I'll show you in the video here how to fillet it correctly. I usually start at the head. You make a notch right by the gills going towards the spine. Then you make your first cut going along the spine towards the tail, and you're working your tip of your knife in towards the spine, and you'll hear it kind of click, click, click as it hits the bones. And you just take a couple swipes from head to tail, and as you're working your way down, you're trying to stay as close as you can to that spine, and you will hit the pin bones somewhere around the middle of the spine there. You'll hear them kind of cutting through. Then as you get through that part, you're going to be working your way down towards the ribs. You're swiping your knife across the ribs from head to tail as you go. Nice even cuts. Once you get down towards the ends of the ribs, you either can leave the belly fat or you can cut off that fin and belly fat. I chose to cut it off. It's a bit too fatty for me on my recipe. You can save that for bait for later, for halibut or for a lingcod or crab bait. You know, it's up to you where you want to use it. So you can save that for later. The best part of filleting salmon is when you get to this part right here, we have a little bit extra left on the bone that you didn't cut off. What you want to do is you want to do a nice little incision like this. Trim off this extra, just like that. Get a little bit of fresh salmon in here. Dip it in some soy sauce, just like that. Best fresh salmon you can ever have. It is delicious. This is fresh. It was still swimming this morning from the ocean to the river to my stomach right here. And if you see me in the bathroom in 30 minutes, ignore this message. So the brine that I use is 3 cups of water, 3/4 cups of brown sugar packed in, and a 1/3 cup of salt, and I use kosher salt. And then I use a whole lemon zest in the recipe. And that is proportions for 3 cups, and you can scale that up to 6 cups, 12 cups, 24 cups, however many salmon you have. And for that first portion, I use about 4 pounds of salmon to that proportions that I gave you. And I had to do 12 cups to get all these 3 salmon brined in dishes. And I usually place them in a deep dish, and I have them skin side up, so the fillet, the flesh is facing down. That way the brine kind of works overnight and it brines it as it goes. And I noticed that if you have it flesh up, it tends to float. It doesn't marinate necessarily correctly. So yeah, I do skin side up, and it's been doing the trick so far. This here is Thanksgiving and Christmas. Thanksgiving is the fatter one, Christmas is the smaller one. Just order of operations right here. That's right, buddy. Huh? Come here. Want some of these?
Open the book.
Also, important thing to note is you want to really keep track of your temperature on your smoker. You want to keep it nice and low for the first hour. Like I said, it's about 150 degrees. I'm currently at about 140, 135-ish. And you want it to be nice and low so that creates a kind of like a crust on the salmon. So it keeps all that moisture inside of it. And after about an hour, you crank up the temperature to really cook it inside. So when I do my smoking, I use wood pellets instead of wood chips. I feel like they burn a lot longer. They smolder real good, and you can light them up with a torch and get some going. So I prefer wood pellets over wood chips. Something you might want to look into. So the first part of smoking the salmon, you want to have your temperature inside the smoker at 150 Fahrenheit for an hour. And you're trying to keep it there, that temperature, to get a nice little light crust on the salmon. You keep it smoking and at that temperature for 1 hour. After 1 hour, you want to pick up the temperature to about 200, 220 degrees. You should start cooking the salmon, and you keep it in there until the salmon reaches an internal temperature of 140 degrees. That is when it's ready to be taken out. We are at 135 internal temperature for the salmon, kind of where we want to be at. Take a look what it looks like inside. That's what it should look like once we're cooking. Top one is ready. The bottom one needs a little bit more ready to go. As I said before, you want to be around 200, 220 on your final hour to get the temperature to rise to 135, 140 for cooked temperature. And here we have it, finished product, smoked salmon, ready to enjoy. Keep watching on Tube Fishing.